What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC reality check, and you don't see my pretty sexy face, so you know I'm not alone. We got to get back on that AEW groove. We got to get back in the tag team groove. So, Guapo, for the first time in 2021, what's going on, sir?
Crack a beer, take off your pants, and listen to this AEW podcast. Oh, yes, for the first time of 2021, Senor de Guapo is back again on the Spaz Phoenix channel to talk about none other than AEW Tag Team Wrestling.
I'm really glad my podcast isn't ASMR. Anyways, so we did the first half back in 2020. Like we did the first 2/3 of the women's highlight with myself and Jake for NXT. I would do a women's highlight for AEW if they had a women's division, but they could say the same thing about NXT. They could say the same thing about NXT. NXT's got the Dusty Classic. We're fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, basically we knocked out sort of the mid-card. There really is no undercard for the AEW tag division. So we did the mid-card last year. We're doing the upper card this year. And seeing as you know what AEW is all about tag team wise, way more than me, you once again get to take the lead. And who are we talking about first?
How about we knock out some honorable mentions first? People who really didn't make the cut just yet. One of these teams in the honorable mentions could easily be moved into this main event slot. However, they can definitely improve this year, 2021, which I actually see them possibly even holding the titles this year. That, of course, I am talking about the Dark Order, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson.
See, Uno and Grayson, I don't picture so much as a tag team anymore because they haven't really been focused on as a tag team in a while. Evil Uno's been sort of the de facto Dark Order leader. I mean, when we did our year-end thing, we obviously spoke quite a bit about the passing of Brody Lee.
Right.
But it seems like in the meantime, at least in clips and whatever that I've seen, he's sort of like becoming de facto leader, de facto like talking head guy.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the tag teams coming from the Dark Order, I picture, I'm going to forget their names again. Silver and Reynolds,
yeah,
who we talked about in the last pod.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they've been tagging more recently. It's funny though, for myself anyway, to talk about the Dark Order as the tag team that initially showed up, because I mean you knew who they were from before AEW, and a lot of other people did as well. But when they showed up on AEW, there was a lot of people that were like, "Okay, who the fuck are these guys? What the fuck's going on?" And I just. Not specifically that they've got a great stellar record recently, but that the fact that they took that reaction into the larger faction that we have today is more impressive than what I can say about just these two guys as a team.
Right.
So I don't know. Do they remain the quote unquote tag team of the Dark Order, or do they sort of rescind that to Silver and Reynolds, who seem to be currently the guys for tag team wrestling?
At the moment, I do think they stay the main tag team. Silver and Reynolds definitely have been building up steam as of late. However, Uno and Grayson started off the Dark Order together as the main tag team. I think they will end up being together the main tag team of Dark Order, where we could possibly see 10 picking up the TNT title at some point, or way later in the future picking up the AEW Heavyweight Championship at some point. But that's way later down in the future, because 10 even has to get some work in. But yeah,
I was gonna say he works as a good heavy. The weird sort of Brody Jr. -1 mixed tag -1. Sorry. When they made the team of like him and Cody and Orange Cassidy was a really interesting thing to watch.
Right.
Just as far as like how, like normally when I say wrestlers are interchangeable, it's kind of a bad thing, because if they're interchangeable, like what personality do they have? But with Dark Order, it's, and I'm going to try and say this in the nicest way possible, it's kind of like the putties from Power Rangers. They seem like they can No, but they seem like they can intermix and interweave,
Yeah.
and no particular team. Because we've seen Grayson team with other members of the Dark Order that aren't Evil Uno in the past. There's also the whole running story with fuck, why can't I do names tonight? It's tired in here. Hangman Page.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different things they could do, and I personally, I know there's a rumor of a trios title coming somewhere down the line. I wouldn't be surprised if Hangman and Silver and Reynolds pick up a trios title before necessarily Uno and Grayson got the regular tag titles. But that's just me, because they don't, as much as they are an important part of the show, they don't feel like they're in the title picture.
Right. I can agree with you there, but that's why they're also in the honorable mentions. Also in honorable mentions, they're never really been a tag team, even though they had tag team gold. Kenny and Hangman.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go first with this one.
I mean, they were thrown together, tag team together. They worked amazingly together. I like them together. However, they will never be a tag team together again. They're on honorable mentions just simply because they have held tag team gold, and at the time of writing this list, they were still in the middle of their breakup. Or they just finished their breakup.
Let's be real. We made these lists, and it's the same thing for myself and Jake in the NXT stuff. We made these lists of people that we wanted to talk about, like, at the beginning of December. So if one of them manages to be a little out of date, that's okay.
Well, I have one more that's out of date, but we'll get to that one.
Is it the other one in the honorable mentions? Because I don't think that's as out of date as you think it is. I have a thought on that. Here's my problem, right? I like Hangman. I like Hangman more than I like Kenny Omega.
Okay.
But okay. People misconstrue, and this goes for WWE as well as it goes for AEW. People misconstrue a really, really awesome story with a story with two people they really, really like. My WWE example is obviously like Trasha Skanks and Bayley. And on AEW, it's Kenny the Beta and Hangman Page. Both stories masqueraded as good long-term storytelling just because they dragged out for a long time. So while there was nothing wrong with these guys as a team, they were great. They had it was considered by everybody, probably including me, the best tag team match that AEW put on all of last year was obviously Kenny and Hangman versus the Bucks.
Yes.
We thought it was going to be the Bucks and FTR. It wasn't. It was this one, right? Now, consider what I think of 3 of the 4 people in that match. That's high praise coming from me.
Yeah.
But this just went on and on and on and on. And I've come to the conclusion that Hangman Page is Bayley in this situation. Because the other side of the equation is way overestimated, in my opinion. I have to say this. I have to put this disclaimer in all the time. Kenny Omega is a great wrestler. The most recent match that he had with Phoenix on Dynamite is an awesome example of that. I'm still going to say, actually, me and Ruffin were actually talking about this the other day, so shout out to yours and Ruffin's show if it ever comes back. But it's just, I see what other people, I don't see what other people see, but I see that other people see something in Omega. That puts him on this, like, fucking god tier, like, savior of all wrestling level. And I'm just looking at him as like, he's a good wrestler. Okay, cool. And Hangman is sort of like the guy it's not Hangman's feud, it's Omega's feud that happens to be with Hangman, which is exactly what WWE did to Bayley. It wasn't Bayley's feud, it was Sasha Banks' feud that Bayley happened to be in. Which puts them in really bummer spots, but it also puts me as a fan as sort of I'm a little bit of a contrarian, I think it's fair to say, but it does put me in those people's favor. I think they're the ones being stepped on in the feud. I'm more apt to get behind them. Bayley as a heel is great. Hangman as the really, really conflicted, I'm gonna fuck some shit up, but it's still somehow magically like, I've gotten people to feel bad for me, and it's worked. And I'm not saying that sarcastically, it has worked. Making him perfect fodder to be temporarily recruited by the Dark Order. All that is great, but my God, it just dragged. Like, that's the only thing I can say against it. These guys are going to fight for the title at some point. And for AEW, it's going to be pretty great. That's going to headline a pay-per-view that's going to get a lot of buzz. There's going to be a lot of eyes. I'm sure the buy rate on it will be fantastic, and the main event will be fantastic. But it feels like we've dragged our feet through molasses in January to get there. As a team, they were great because they were telling a story between themselves, and it kind of didn't matter who they were in the ring with because the story was between them, and that part of the storytelling is fantastic. If I never, ever, ever in a million years see them in another tag team match, I'm not going to care.
I can agree. So, next up on my list, the Natural Nightmares, QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes.
I like them.
Yes.
I like them a lot.
They had not been showcased as of late. However, I feel like both could possibly get a run with the titles at some point in the future.
I think they will. I mean, it's cut and paste to say at this point, but the fact that Dustin Rhodes is doing the things that he's doing at this point in his life and at this point in his career is fucking phenomenal.
Absolutely. Let me look up see how old he is.
QT Marshall, I hate to say it, but he's sort of got, like, unless there's something I'm missing on BTE or something like that I don't watch, he's got sort of an anti-personality to me. Like, he's, not to make reference to what I just said a second ago.
Dustin is 51.
Yeah. I think, what did I say? We did some sort of video about Jericho, and it's like, Jericho is 50. And that just made me sad a little bit and made me feel a bit old. Because friggin' I remember, like, you know, little, like, punchy cruiserweight in WCW top knot Jericho.
Right.
So, Spaz is old, in case anybody hasn't figured that out. But I don't... The only thing lacking in this, right, is because obviously we're all invested in the Dustin Rhodes character. I still don't know what the QT Marshall character is, other than, like, he was distracted by the bunny for a while.
Yeah, basically that was it.
But you mean, like, he's the plain guy, with the popular guy. He's... People are going to hate me for saying this, but whatever. He's the Matt Hardy of the team. And that's not a dig at Matt Hardy before people come at me in the comments. Please comment, though. Down below, YouTube tells me I don't get enough comments. But Jeff would go out there and do all the flashy stuff, and Matt was more known for doing the ground stuff. And I mean, they would switch out from time to time, but they both had sort of their roles. It's like the teams that have, like, a really big guy and a really fast guy. But Matt came off, at least in the early goings of the Hardy Boys, it came off like Matt had a lot less personality because he wasn't as flashy. And I feel like that's where QT Marshall is right now. He's sort of like nondescript, but he's the guy that's there when Dustin Rhodes needs to tag out for a bit because he's just on a Canadian destroyer at 51 years of age.
Yes.
I mean, it's a weird thing because you talk about them getting a title run or not getting a title run. They will get a title run when the people holding the titles aren't a main event tag team. Like, they're not going to win those titles off the Bucks. They're not going to win those titles off the Lucha Brothers. They're not going to win those titles off of FTR. They're going to win them off of, like, I don't know, Ortiz and Sammy Guevara.
Right.
So you have to find somebody that brings those, because right now the tag titles in AEW, and this is the highest compliment I can give it, the tag titles are main event titles in AEW. Yep. So you need to put those titles into the mid card before I'm sort of on board with Dustin and QT getting a shot at them. But that doesn't mean I don't want it to happen.
I agree with that.
My comparison was over in NXT. Finn Balor was out. Obviously, he got his jaw all fucked up in round 1 with Kyle O'Reilly. We didn't have a champion for a while, so all the other titles got to, share a bit of the spotlight. Predominantly, the women's championship took center stage for a bit. But those titles can slip back down when they need to, and if you do that with the tag titles here, I think that's where you get Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall getting a shot. But then somebody who's like clearly, whatever, better, stronger, faster, whatever the case may be, comes in and smokes them eventually.
Right.
Actually, you know what? Perfect. I know we're not going to talk about them because the Impact thing hadn't happened yet when we made this list. They get the titles. They get to celebrate for one night. They get an immediate beatdown from the Good Brothers and lose those titles to the Good Brothers.
Oh, yes, the Good Brothers.
Oh, because the Bullet Club's getting back together. Sorry, I'm done.
Look. The club is getting back together. You just got to saddle up for the ride because it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, Kenny Omega's a TNA star now.
Well, somebody got to pin the fucking TNA champion.
That's true.
Sorry.
Trust me, I'm not going to be crying for Rich Swann.
Well, I don't think anybody is. But
Shit.
Up next, my last pick of honorable mentions, which I guess can be interchangeable now. The Sex Gods, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, or I guess now it's going to be Chris Jericho and what's his face? Fuck. MJF, because Chris is a tag team slut.
I saw somebody online saying that now that Sammy is going to be teaming with Jake Hager, who used to be Jack Swagger, Le Sex Gods are now going to be Le Swag Gods.
Le Swag Gods, oh gosh. Why do I like that?
It's a horrible idea from horrible creative. I like the fact that there's like legitimately 3 different tag team combinations in that group competing to be the tag team in that group, and even still Wardlow's on the outside. Like, what the fuck, guys?
I'm honestly surprised Jericho didn't say, no, Sammy, it can't be you, because Jake is going to be tagging with Wardlow.
Actually, you know what, though?
That would be a fucking monster tag team.
Actually, weirdly enough, and this is not a dig at Jake Hager, I'm kind of more interested to see how Sammy Guevara and Wardlow as a team would be.
Yeah, that'd be interesting too.
I
mean, both guys can fucking move, so.
Yeah, that's okay. This is going to be going out on Friday, so I was going to say Impact. The Dynamite will have already passed, but they're doing that Inner Circle triple threat match. Last minute, Wardlow gets named as the referee or something.
Oh God.
I don't know, man. Like Jericho, okay, I'm already going to be proven wrong by the time this goes out. Jericho and MJF have to win that to continue that story, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is kind of sad because the legit tag team in there is Santana and Ortiz, who had their big street fight with the Best Friends, but then have sort of fallen off the cliff since then. Like they're the background of this Y2J MJF thing.
I want to say one of them. Ortiz, the one that's like a little more crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can never tell them apart. I think Ortiz. I want to say he's been nursing some sort of injury lately.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then in that case, it's cool that they found a way for him to still be on the show even if he can't be active. That's one thing. Okay, for people out there that say I don't give AEW any credit, I mean WWE does it too, but AEW has really stepped up in their regards as well. They are really good at finding ways to keep people on the show. Even if they can't wrestle. The Britt Baker thing is the best example of that.
With Tony Schiavone.
Oh, I don't need to see Tony Schiavone without a shirt on. I'm just putting it out there. I'm gonna be rushing for a second. I'm just putting it out there.
God. All right, next up. So that's the end of the honorable mentions. So into the main event. These are the tag teams that I see fit. Now this is in my own opinion. And you're just listening to this. First up, Butcher and the Blade.
Athletically impressive.
Yep.
I feel like they don't exist in their own spot. I feel like they came in the same way that the Dark Order came in, as sort of, what the fuck, who are these guys? But I don't think they've elevated themselves the way Dark Order has. They can go in there, they can get it done in the ring. They're like, I hate to say it because it sounds backhanded, but like they're really good hands in the ring. Butcher is a fucking terrifying looking dude, but the only time they have any real to me, I'm saying to me, the only time they have any real personality, it just depends on who their leader is at the time. So they were MJF's hired goons for a little bit, and then am I wrong, or did they do something with FTR for a little bit as well?
Oh, they were facing FTR for a little bit, but
okay.
they weren't with FT. No, they weren't with FTR. They've always been with
Kingston.
Yeah, Eddie.
So they have that hired goons image to shake.
But they got the bunny.
It's true. I'd shag the bunny. It's fine. But like QT Marshall's already been there.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a loose Cody connection, which makes her slightly less fuckable.
But does it?
No. I just wanted to take my shot at Cody there. I just want to go on another Cody rant now because that guy can still fuck off.
No,
I don't know.
No Cody rants today.
I do want good things for these guys because I don't think they're lacking anything in the ring, but they have the hired APA or not APA, AOP is who they remind me of. Like where they got all their personality from who their manager was.
They're not hurting anybody in the ring.
Fair enough. But no, like they had personality because Paul Ellering was their manager, and then they had a different kind of personality because Drake Maverick was their manager, and then they were backing up Seth Rollins as he was getting into the ramp of his heel run, but they were just hired big guys. Like they were the bad version of a Diesel. And I think these guys, even though they're much better in the ring than those examples that I'm bringing up, as far as persona goes, they still don't have one, except like they're a bit weird. And they've got weird names, and one of them comes out in a gimp mask that's never really been explained. I want them. It's the typical answer from me. Like I want them to give me more. Right. I don't hate them. I don't want them gone. I don't think that, oh my god, they're terrible and they're a waste of my time. But they are very much the team that you put in the ring when you want the fans to focus on the other side of the ring. And that's an okay role, but I'm sure they want more, and I hope they get it.
Yeah, I can definitely see it.
How about yourself?
Yes. Next up. Sorry, I zoned out for a second there.
It's tired in here. It's allowed.
It is. All right, next up on my list, best friends: Trent, ? And Chucky T.
And Orange Cassidy. I would include Orange Cassidy in this.
We can include Orange Cassidy.
Now,
I mean, he's not a part of the main tag team, but yes.
But do you know why we need to include Orange Cassidy?
Because whatever.
Because you got to give the people what they want.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You
even though
best friends hug.
Even though right now one of them's injured, one of them's a butler, and the other one's Orange Cassidy.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Can I mention quickly one team that I'm glad we didn't put on the list?
Sure.
Miro and Kip Sabian.
Yeah, because I mean they haven't made any impact of being a tag team together, so.
Yeah. Well, the implications are all there. Like there's a connection there. I like Kip Sabian as a character. Penelope Ford, I don't mind either. She decorates my TV screen quite nicely. Miro can fuck the fuck off. Miro's like Bulgarian.
I really feel their Spaz.
Bulgarian Cody over here. Like, goddamn. Okay, I will say, there's something I used to say sarcastically. That AEW was pulling an Impact. And just, whoever WWE dropped, they'll bring them in, they can talk some shit and whatever. AEW never really did it directly. They took a lot of subpar shots at WWE because that's what they do. But they didn't do the overtly Impact thing of bring in a guy that used to be in WWE, give him a live mic, let him talk shit about WWE for 5 minutes. And then they literally did that with Miro, and I'm like, okay, this is just that's why you signed him. Okay, cool. Because what's he done? He's gone around in like designer pajamas and like hit people with video game equipment.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that is not better than getting your own tank entrance and facing John Cena at WrestleMania.
Look, nothing's gonna beat facing John Cena at WrestleMania getting a tank entrance.
It's true.
That's a very, very, very high bar to beat.
And I mean, at this point, like, his wife is at the chiropractor every day.
Oh, well, you know, when she keeps getting power bombed into fucking tables all the time,
yeah,
doesn't help anything.
And then replaced by Charlotte Flair at the last minute.
Look, we already established WWE creative is shit, so.
Okay, but seriously, if you're putting together a women's match, be honest. If you want a good match, are you putting Lana in there or are you putting Charlotte Flair in there?
Oh, God, no. Of course you're not going to put Lana in there. However, when you're facing against a woman that literally destroys people's careers and puts them on shelves for months on end and a legitimate fighter, obviously, I mean, I would have just thrown her in because at that point, who cares?
Oh, what do Nia Jax and Seth Rollins have in common?
I don't know. Go for it.
They both put Becky Lynch out of action for months.
All right, guys, that's it. Good night.
Thanks for coming out, guys. No, the Lana thing was just so funny because everybody was like, "Oh my God, why are they even bothering to let her wrestle?" And then Miro went to AEW. And they did let Lana wrestle. She was getting put through the table. Like, oh my God, we need to protect Lana. You're only doing this because Miro's in AEW. And I'm like, you hated her like 5 seconds ago. Like, fuck off and at least try to not be transparent.
All right, well. Anyway, so best friends, I could definitely see them being a part of the main title picture at some point. Once Trent becomes healthy again, I feel like both of them could give a very strong tag title run. Now,
do you think in the meantime that Trent and Orange Cassidy make a makeshift team until what's his face comes back?
No, Trent's what you call it? Chuck UT's the one that's still alive.
Oh, he's the one that's being a butler.
He's the butler, and
because AEW's got the good stories that end in orange juice. I
mean, it could end in some some itch powder or whatever.
The Uzi Hot. The Uzi Hot was good. Don't even worry about it. Okay, look where Jey Uso is right now. Look where Roman Reigns is right now. It's good. Come to the good side, and you can sit at the head of the table. I definitely thought you were going to say it could end with somebody's eyeball coming out and it basically being a marble covered in ketchup.
Throw Rey Mysterio off the side of a building to a certain death.
And Aleister Black.
And Aleister Black, who's rotting away in WWE creative.
Well, tell his wife not to be a troublemaker.
Cesaro.
If that doesn't get me a whole bunch of shit. Actually, Cesaro had a really fucking awesome match just this past week on SmackDown.
Yes, he did. However,
because I've gotten so bored in lockdown, I actually started reviewing SmackDown again.
God, why?
Because SmackDown's actually good.
Lord. Well, it's getting better. Raw is terrible.
Hey, we almost had.
That's why we're recording during Raw.
Well, yeah. Well, nothing wants to be Raw. Even AEW isn't as bad as Raw.
I mean, AEW's starting to beat Raw's ratings, so, you know.
Okay.
Anyway.
That's like saying I stepped on an ant successfully. But no, SmackDown almost gave us Roman Reigns versus Adam Pearce. How can you shit on that?
Up next on my list, we have the biggest defects from the WWE and probably the best, one of the best tag teams, FTR. Your thoughts? You can't say shit because you know they're good.
Oh no, they're great. I'm trying to think of something else that will make for an interesting podcast other than they're a fucking great team.
Yeah,
Like,
fucking great team.
I'm back and forth. Honest, I know that it lends to their style, them being a throwback tag team, throwing back to the old days and whatever. I'm constantly 50-50 on whether the Tully Blanchard managerial thing.
I like the Tully Blanchard managerial stuff with them. However, it at certain points I feel like it's leaned on a little too hard.
Yeah, it feels like it's a Tully story now.
Correct.
See,
But
see, my problem isn't that, right?
Storytelling, it's not bad.
My problem isn't that. My problem goes back to, like, if you go back a ways, and I'm not in any way trying to pretend that I'm like a big wrestling historian or anything like that, but like the initial reason that you gave somebody a manager is either you had one really like consistent story going on, or because they didn't have any character or they couldn't work a mic. And the Revival, when they were in WWE, even though they were given crap material, they proved that they could have some character and that they are good on the mic. And because they've got the manager there, I don't think we're seeing more of the wrestling and less of the character, which I don't necessarily think is a good trade-off. But that's literally the only negative I can say right now, is that there are certain things I know they can do that I'm not seeing. AEW, I mean, in addition to like they've got better tag team wrestling right now, it's fine. Dusty Rhodes Classic is going on right now. I'm kind of excited about that.
With a lot of throwing together tag teams.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Just throwing it out there.
Gargano, in theory, should win the whole thing so that the internet can get mad. Where was I going with that? Okay, so the one thing AEW is really good at is tag team wrestling. We know this. I will acknowledge this. The other thing that they've done, I think you and I have talked about this before, is they've brought back the role of managers in a really, really solid way. Like, the most recent one is, like, the whole whatever the hell is going on between Sting and Darby Allin, right?
Right.
But the problem is, adding a manager to an act makes an act unique, right?
Correct.
But the more managers you put on a show, the less unique it becomes. So I'm hesitant on it, even though they're good at it. I'm hesitant at, like, you've got a manager and you've got a manager and this faction's got a manager and da-da-da-da, especially when I look at a team like FTR, who I've already seen somewhere else without a manager, who don't need it, who can handle the mic, can handle the personality side of things. And, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Tully Blanchard could be helping somebody else that still needs that. Right. Like, if, what's a good example I can think of? If Jake Hager wasn't part of the Inner Circle, and he was just a big powerhouse guy in there on his own, can you, like, Tully Blanchard managing somebody like Jake Hager, who's, like, a significant, like, collegiate athlete type prospect, would be really good, because Hager, unless it's in a comedy way, I don't think Hager is particularly strong on the mic.
No, Hager's not great on the mic at all.
In comedy situations, he is. Like the promo that they did last week, when it's like, "What's my New Year's resolution? Championships, baby!" But like, I won't take him necessarily seriously. So when I already think there's too many managers, and then I see an act that I don't even think necessarily needs one, and that's to their credit, it's literally the only thing I can criticize, because it's 50-50. Sometimes it's great, sometimes I think it falls off the edge a little bit.
Yeah. I can agree with that. All right,
Champions again relatively soon?
Yeah, I think so.
I would love to see them get in, and I don't want to say take a step down, because there's two teams that are not on this list because they just joined recently. Acclaimed and Top Flight.
I think didn't we talk about them the last video?
Did we?
I want to say we talked about them. I put them in the honorable mentions last time. As they were new tag teams.
I don't think we did.
Possibly.
Unless you changed your note from the one you gave me, which is sitting right in front of me.
It was an insert ad.
Okay. No, but what I'm going to say is just because FTR is so technically sound, and you got those two teams that are both pretty high flyer, pretty like character driven thing, they could both benefit as almost like a punching up scenario. Like they think they're such hot shit, they're going to punch up at a team like FTR. I think they could do no end of good to a couple of newer teams like that before they get themselves back up into the title picture. But that's just me being selfish on behalf of other teams.
Right. I can agree with you. Both Top Flight and the Acclaimed.
If you can be main eventers and help other people become main eventers, that's like the ultimate resume thing.
Yes. So, next up, second to last, we have the Lucha Brothers.
Lucha Brothers are just fun, man.
God, they're amazing.
They're so much fun, I'm not gonna lie.
Their brand of flippy dippy shit is just fun to watch, no matter what.
It's flippy shit that doesn't, like, when I think about what they do, and it is flippy shit, but I don't think about it as flippy shit. I think of it as like really, really intricate violence.
Oh, absolutely.
I do have a funny story. For those of you that listen to What Culture will know this story, but apparently Lucha Brothers used to be in WCPW, which was basically What Culture Pro Wrestling. I've listened to a lot of podcasts with Adam Cleary on there. He was apparently doing talent relations at one point, and all the wrestlers at some particular time or another had like another like younger wrestler like helping carry their bags and whatnot, right? So apparently they had Rey Mysterio on a show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to butcher this story, so apologies. But apparently it was a matter of, like, you had to have, like, your pass at all times if you were a talent going into the building so that they didn't have to check you all the time, whatever. So when Rey Mysterio checked in to be part of the show and somebody else came in behind him, Adam Cleary from What Culture had to chase down Rey Mysterio and be like, hey, you know, your little mate over there needs one too. And his little mate was Pentagon. I'm just like, I hear these stories and it's just like, there's every now and then there's a thing where like I wish I lived somewhere else in the world. Like when I hear the guys on What Culture talk about like WCPW when it was a thing, I'm like I would have loved that. When I look at old Destiny footage of before I started going here in Mississauga, they had a triple threat for their championship, and it was who was it? It was PJ Black versus Rey Mysterio versus Ricochet.
Right.
And I'm just like, why didn't I just start going a little earlier?
I know exactly what you mean. Just for example, so my local promotion's called Wildcat Wrestling. Yeah, basically. It's ran by Luke Hawk, who's him and his son PJ Hawk are in NWA right now. And one of their main people that was really big and hadn't been on the show in like within the last year, mostly because he's been in NWA and other places, Ricky Starks.
Nice.
I never got to see him live at Wildcat. However, a couple of my friends that had been to a lot of the other Wildcat shows before I started going to them always told me, dude, if Ricky Starks comes, he's awesome. He's this, and this. I'm like, all right, cool. I started watching his shit online. I'm like, oh, cool. I can't wait until he comes to a show. 2 weeks later, he's on AEW. I'm like, oh, God.
That's brutal. Well, I will say that's why I do like going to Destiny, because they happen to have good working relationships with WWE and NXT and AEW.
He's a local New Orleans boy, too. So it's good to support the local guys.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, like, my first big example of that was freaking Shotzi Blackheart, obviously.
Yeah.
But
like, there's one guy who wrestles for Wildcat right now. His name's Jay Spade. The rumor was he was getting signed to NXT, which was awesome for him. However, I think the pandemic kind of put a hold on that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
However, because of that, I don't think his contract is being upheld. So he's still able to work in New Orleans. However, I don't know if he's still going to be going to NXT, which sucks for him because he's like he's good. He is good enough to be up there with Balor and all them. Like, he's a really good talent. And he's good on mic. So,
Yeah.
definitely somebody to look out for. I'll have to send you a couple clips. But, last but not least, it's probably very obvious if you made it this far into the video. Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks. Your AEW Tag Team Champions right now. The Spot Monkeys. The Bucks of Youth. Yes.
Bunch of fucking jobbers. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I have all the problems that I have ever had with the Bucks and their fans, and they haven't changed a bit.
Well,
But
I mean,
none of them have anything to do with whether these guys are good or not, because obviously they're good. Obviously, they've taken the, and again, if you know me, you know this is high praise coming from me. They basically took the Hardy vibe and turned it up to 11.
yeah, absolutely.
Some of the stuff, and I know this makes me that nitpicky, like, fucking Sidgwick-sounding asshole, some of their stuff makes no sense. Like, it just doesn't. Like, the, what's it called? The Meltzer driver is just a pile driver with somebody else jumping sort of beside you.
Hey.
It is.
Meltzer
It is.
Driver's amazing.
It is. A lot of their matches are the opposite of the whole pro wrestling this ain't ballet, because it definitely is. But what they do very well. And whether I agree with them or not, or whether I think they all need to be euthanized, they do have a cult following.
Yeah, I mean, they have a cult following.
Their
It's
following
simple-
needs their
it's-
shots, but
It's just as simple as look at their work rate. Every single match that they really have been in is a very good, high caliber match. Just for example, because it translates amazingly. So, you know this being a wrestling fan.
yes,
Watching
I am a
something
wrestling
live-
fan.
Watching something live versus watching it recorded or just on TV in general, you get different vibes, you get different stuff from it.
Oh fuck! If I was sitting front row live at a show right now watching them have a match, I'd be having a blast.
Absolutely. So, just saying that. So my first encounter with watching the Bucks live was at ROH Supercard in New Orleans. What was that? Whatever Mania 34 was that weekend.
So 3 years ago.
3 years ago. It was the Bucks and Flip Gordon in a triples match against SCU.
Okay.
That match was fucking amazing.
Apparently,
from start to finish.
Apparently, Flip Gordon's somebody I need to look into as well.
Yes, Flip Gordon's somebody you need to look into. I'm honestly surprised I guess because his contract with ROH is still there, but he is definitely a very, very, very good person. The day he shows up at AEW, I will mark out like a motherfucker. Anyway, that was the first match I ever seen them live. Obviously, I've watched them on TV multiple times. The very next match I see them live, obviously, was AEW Fyter Fest.
Was that the ladder match?
No. At ROH was the ladder match against SCU.
No, when did they have the ladder match in AEW with Lucha Brothers for the AAA titles?
I want to say that was All Out.
Okay.
Possibly. Yeah, I want to say it was All Out.
Okay.
But the match with them, it was Fyter Fest. It was the very first Fyter Fest. Me and my buddy drove to Daytona to watch it. It was amazing. And it was the Bucks and Kenny versus Lucha Bros and shoot, who was that?
Was it Pac?
No, it wasn't Pac. It was another Mexican wrestler. Shoot, what the hell's his name? He's
the Bandito guy.
Was it? No, it wasn't Bandito. It was the other guy. Shit. Why is that? Why can't I think of that now?
Not the one that's with Luther now.
No. Different guy. AW. That's gonna bother me now. Fight Fest.
Because I think that's the show that you and I did the podcast on. That was like watching it on TV versus watching it live.
Correct.
I don't remember who their partner was. I'm sorry.
No. It's okay. I'm on it now.
All right.
Let's see. Elite.
This is great for audio, by the way.
Laredo Kid.
Right.
Yes. Amazing match. From start to finish, that match was hard hitting, just fun, no matter what.
Yeah.
Honestly, the ROH match made me a real Young Bucks fan. Like, I was already a fan of them. However, watching them live made me 100% a fan.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because
Okay.
this is where my knowledge is going to fall off.
Okay.
The WrestleMania where the Hardy Boys returned. Did they face the Young Bucks the night before?
Yes, for the ROH titles.
Okay. All right, because I'm not gonna lie, that I would have liked to see.
That was 2018.
All you need to do there is then like bring in the Rockers, and then you could have like a 3-generation thing.
I don't think the Rockers could survive an entire match with the Bucks and Hardys.
Oh, come on. All you have to do is get bald Shawn Michaels out of the PC and pull Marty Jannetty off his daughter, unfortunately. Throw them back in the ring. And wrestling is a strange...
Just wondering, do you follow Marty Jannetty's Facebook?
No, but I've seen some of the things that he said occasionally. They're troublesome.
It's creepy.
They're troublesome. I think the last one I read was literally like the paragraph that's like, it's not wrong to say that I'd bang her if she wasn't my daughter. I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is. like a lot.
Oh God.
Anyways,
just his Facebook bio. If at first you don't succeed, skydiving is not for you. You heard me?
Oh God, that's such a bad old joke. That's such a bad old joke.
There's just so much wrong with this man.
See, you want me to tell you Guapo? I can tell you a joke right now that's just as bad as that.
Oh God, I'm scared.
How do you get a nun pregnant?
No, just no.
You fuck her.
All right, boys. Well, this has been fun.
No. I got an honorable mention of my own to throw in here.
All right, come on, throw it at me.
And I'm putting it in here at the end because they're not technically a tag team yet, but it's a tag team that I want to happen. And it's specifically the tag team that I want to take the titles off of the Young Bucks. If they ever become a tag team, Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston.
Yeah. That'd be great.
That would be murder.
Great tag team.
That'd be murder. That would be murder. Also, if you guys out there are not listening to the Renee Paquette podcast, listen to the Renee Paquette podcast where she interviewed Eddie Kingston. It's a lot of fun. It's basically him telling her that Jon Moxley is lucky to have her and stuff.
Well, of course Jon Moxley's lucky to... Moxley's so lucky to have what you all landed Renee.
Hey, we make them good up here in Canada, all right?
I mean, you had to have some sort of a good export. Obviously, it's not going to be Tim Hortons or Justin Bieber.
Or bagged milk or ketchup chips.
Exactly. Whoa.
Even though certain...
Ketchup chips are a wonderful delicacy. Just like
certain Americans... I'm not going to say one of my co-hosts hasn't offered to literally send me money to send him ketchup chips.
I mean, yeah, probably he will, but
I mean, we also gave you Trish Stratus.
This is true.
And Gail Kim.
But we gave you Trish Stratus' boobs.
Oh, what's the old joke? I can't bang her because parts of her aren't 16 yet.
Oh God.
Anyways,
oh, Lord,
I think we've officially reached the end of decency. Guapo,
Yes.
why don't you tell them where to find you, buddy?
You can find me on Twitter at Guapo_504 or on Facebook with the what the fuck's my show called? Shit. The Wednesday Night Wrestling Show. I can't remember what the hell it is. We haven't done it in a while. Our buddy Ruffin actually has had a little surgery he had done. All prayers to him that he gets all better. Last I talked to him, he is recovering and home and doing well. So, besides that, you can find me on there. Hopefully we'll get a show going at some point this year. Probably next month.
Might as well say now, seeing as we were talking about it a while ago, if we can work out the timing properly,
Yes.
I'm going to try and get you and me and Jake on here
Yes.
to predict the Royal Rumble. That's basically going to be me trying to figure out between the two of you what time works, because I don't have a life.
What day is the Royal Rumble again? Isn't it the 31st?
Yeah.
Really, 31st. All right, cool. Probably next week then, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no,
All right,
it'll just
cool.
be a matter of
Jake,
figuring out.
You're listening to this. Listen to my voice. Next week, you, me, Royal Rumble.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know either. That was weird.
Anyways, after a long and awkward pause there, you guys know where to find me or you wouldn't be here. I've been Spaz. He's been Guapo. We have been your AEW this time reality check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, me, Jake DeMarco. Hey, you're not Jake DeMarco. You're Guapo. Fuck me.
Excuse me, sir. I've been on this channel way longer than Jake DeMarco. I deserve a better outro than that.
Like the past 3 or 4 podcasts I've done with anybody, I've fucked up the ending. Why do I try? We're tagging out. Bye, guys.
Adios, mis amigos.